All right. Hello, I'm Caeln, and another nonsensical piece of stuff and things in my mind coming out. So how we talk, how you talk, how we think. There's three aspects of life. There's the social aspect of how you are run. There's the rule aspect of how you're run, the laws, right? And then there's the constitutional aspect of, well, I am free to do this or this and that. And then they all play into each other, right? There's no constitutional thing inhibiting you from not taking a shower every day. Those are social aspects. But also they tie into hygiene, and some hygienal aspects go into laws. So as there are that. But then the issue comes into play when you argue on multiple fronts and you argue validity in different states at different times, like, oh, well, constitutionally I'm free to do this, so it doesn't matter. But then you'll talk, whoa, socially this is a big impact, and then you shouldn't do that. But constitutionally people are free to do that. You see the inherent issue in what you're saying here? You're saying, oh, I'm free to do whatever I want to do, but your thing has a social impact, so you shouldn't do it. Even though mine might, I'm not going to acknowledge that it does or not. You know, it's like, what? So, and then we get into the enforcing things when we don't actually, like, nothing that we actually enforce as much is actually a thing that's enforcing a thing. It's more of a social construct we enforce. And it's like, I just want to have to deal with that. But then people are like, no, but this rule, that, and this and that, and that, and that. I'm like, I'm not the guy. I'm not in charge of anything. So people shouldn't be talking to me. But somehow people do. And that gets under my skin. Because I'm not mentally culpable. But then, here comes the gaslighting part of society, right? It comes down to what you can control and what you can't control. But then we get gaslit into thinking that we could control things that we couldn't control, or do things better than we could, or things in different ways. So I really don't. This is just a ramble, but I just want to say stuff. I really am frustrated sometimes. Oh no. Who isn't? But my frustrations are are in the having to say and do things in ways. And it is very frustrating when it is on me, when we will go back and I don't know, but I think it's just good to talk to you guys and gals and everyone out there, you peoples. I just it is frustrating sometimes, and then it's like, how do you really, you know, exist in a meaningful manner? Well, meaningful is subjective, yes, but also there's objective factors to the subjectivity of it, right? Like, if you're taking away people's happiness, then it's not it's negative. The aspects of others play into effect in certain times. But then comes into the argument the issue of better doing things, and if you could have done it, you should have done it, but you didn't do it, so you're stupid. But that's not in the Constitution, that you should have done it the best way you could have done it given whatever not known information. It's, it's the pursuit of the happiness. And I think we got all caught up in everyone yelling at us all the times that we're yelling at each other too much. But I'm not here to try and tell people what to do. I'm here to tell people what we could do to change things. I mean, that's a little gaslighting in itself. It's like, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I think you could do, and your life would be better if you did it. But, it's up to you to do it. It's like, well, what? But, I don't know. It's just, I don't feel better than anyone else. I just feel like I want to have a conversation and no one else does. And it's, you know, I just want to have the understanding out there that I just like doing things, but the issue is I can't, because you need to do a bunch of other things to do things. No, I mean, I don't know, it's just, I guess I would like for people to be able to do things with it. Yeah, I guess, you know, I don't, I don't know, I don't really want to deal with things, man. It's like, I don't want to deal with it, you know? Nothing's a big deal, but I guess to me, you know, things are big deals too. But I just, it's, you know, it's like, imagine, you know, well, then you're saying, well, no, but like, all right, so if you made it this far, you're already committed. So do what I'm telling you to do. Imagine that God exists and that God is telling us all that what to do. And then imagine you're telling me to do something differently. And then I do it because you're like, let's do it because you push me. And then God says, no, it's not, you know, and it's like, well, it's just, I don't like getting pushed. I'm a very fine person. I feel I don't good with my speaking, but complacency is hard. But also, I don't, there's doing things, and there's doing things and understanding the actions that you're doing in the entirety. And I feel like everyone wants to do the first without having the second be what they're needing to do. But it's like I want every negative experience I've ever had is because I've known a negative outcome could be possible, and everyone's like, no, don't worry about it. And I've worried about it, and what happens? It's not like my worrying makes it happen. So you said, don't worry, and it won't happen if I don't worry. No, it's happening because it's a thing that could happen, and I'm right. But everyone's like, no, we shouldn't worry. And the issue is that creates the problems that you then worry about, that you're then trying to get away from, that you then don't want to worry about. Worry to not have to worry, instead of not worrying to have to worry about everything, okay? A good analogy would be worrying about a girl's age before you sleep with her, instead of having to worry about the fact that you didn't know the age after you slept with them. Like, what? Like, there's good analogies for everything. People are just, it's like, you know, putting speed limiters on cars is basically the same principle as putting a capacity on the amount of rounds that can go into a magazine, because you're saying you only need this much to get where you're going. And if you can't, there's a problem with the user and there needs to be more training. So I think that's all valid. But people get upset at everything, you know. It's like, I don't know what you're worried about. I think the issue comes into play when we are talking about one form instead of all three. Like when you're talking about the rules are this, so what about this? But you're disregarding the social factor that makes those rules why they need. Or, the Constitution says this and doesn't limit this and this, but you're on private property, so that doesn't matter. You know, so like there's nuances and flows to how the world is in order, and we just abstract and substantiate the parts that we only want to deal with when we don't see things as being there. You know, it's like a ghost airport, right? You know, there are processes and terminals and systems that you need to go through in a certain order. But you don't see that in the real world. We get hung up on all the other stuff. It creates problems when you go, you know, and you don't see the problem with bringing a bottle of water on a plane, you know. There might not be a problem. But when there is a problem, that's the issue, right? I don't know. I don't like doing things. My back hurts today. My back hurts every day. I need to get myself a job. But then it's like I'm just working. It's like, oh, any job I could get myself nowadays, I'd just be standing there. I would be getting paid to be a goddamn signpost that just says, oh, the button, the thingy. Bro, I would rather sit here and attempt to tell people things that could marginally be correct or marginally help them think a little tweaked or differently to make them less... dealing with me, if you deal with me, you can deal with a lot of other things, I'd say, but the real world is not a good place to deal with, and I don't... To say I'm forced to go there, you know, right, then I'd argue, well, where in the Constitution does it say that? Where in the rules does it say that? No, it only socially says that, but the systems that we have in play dictate certain things and structures of life and stuff, you know. I'm just... tired, man. But I love you. Stay safe.